something I'm extremely passionate about when we're talking about Dynamics 365 is user adoption. My past is very varied in the wonderful world of CRM. I spent 7 years as a system administrator at a company, and the very first thing that I was tasked with was, here is a CRM 4.0 system. It has about 50 required fields on the lead entity, which is the starting place for our users. We have over 200 salespeople. Please make this system work for us. Which was my first foray into Dynamics 365 and the older version of CRM 4.0, one of the legacy systems. So from the very beginning of my entire CRM career, I was focused on user adoption. I saw nobody was using that system because it had been configured for management and only management. Nobody talked to the end users. So let's take a few minutes and talk about how you can help get executive buy-in for your Dynamics 365 system and user adoption. Like I have here, user adoption continues to be an issue at many organizations. There seems to be a growing mindset in executive teams where they'll use the system because they have to. They're going to use CRM because if they don't get paid. We're going to tie their compensation to goal metrics out of CRM. If they don't hit those, they don't get their commission reports, which is one way to get people in your system. But there's other ways too, right? We want to deliver something that benefits our end users. We want to take the technology stack of Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform, and we want to implement tools that help our sales reps, that help our marketing team, that help the customer service team to do their job. I mean, there are so many things available in this platform that you can leverage. There's phenomenal AI integrations that you can use to cull together and highlight information that maybe people should prioritize. So I'm not going to talk about those parts of user adoption today. Again, I want to focus on how you can get executive buy-in. So obviously your quick win for user adoption is to have your executive team completely buy in. Yes, we believe that if users enjoy our system, if our system helps our users to get their job done quicker, more efficiently, better, if it does some of the heavy lifting that people are currently doing manually, yes, I want to put that in my system because I know I'm going to get better information in, which gives me better reporting out, where I, as the executive, can make really informed decisions and kind of lead my business that way. Now, that doesn't always happen. So if that's you, awesome, congratulations. You should have no problem implementing solutions to increase user adoption to help your system. But I want to spend the rest of this video talking to the rest of you who might not have that. What can you do? What are your options if you don't have that champion? First of all, we want to build a team. And let me scroll in a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. So first things first, we're going to build a team at your organization. Who should be on this team? Well, I've highlighted a couple roles here, and you can do whatever you want. This is what I've seen work. I've implemented this at places I've worked at. I've helped other companies implement this in the partner role here. But who should be on your team? You want an advocate. You want the person that loves the system, that believes in CRM. I know you have somebody there. This should be an end user. And this is somebody that just really understands your users. They understand the system. And they're there to advocate what CRM can do for them and their peers. We want an influencer. This might be one of the most important people to include on your team. They don't have to be your super users, but this person is the influencer. When they have something to say, their colleagues listen to it. So like I put here, their opinions command respect from your peers. You want this person on your side, and that's going to really help you achieve user adoption or implement tools to help achieve user adoption. Now this third one, this might be a little controversial. You might not like that I put this on here, and this is the stick in the mud. So I know we're talking about how to increase executive buy-in to kind of implement all these tools that are going to help your users. So why on earth do you want the stick in the mud? Well, you need to understand what the friction is on the end user side. Why don't they like it? What don't they enjoy? Do they think it's Big Brother and that's the only point of a CRM system? Once you understand this stick in the mud and why they don't like your system and why they don't use it and they tell other people not to use it, you can start to implement better tools. Maybe you can understand what's really underlying here. What do they really not like about it? What don't they trust? And then you can kind of attack that and implement solutions which kind of make those moot points. So important person on your team, even if you don't want to put them on there. An executive, you need a member of the executive team that's going to bring up the cloud of your team and that's going to help influence the overall executive team. And finally, your system administrator or administrators. These are the people who manage the day-to-day operations of your system. They know a lot about your system. You definitely want them on your team. Now, I'm not saying these are the only people that should be on your team. You're going to take a look at this. You're going to start thinking about what makes sense in your organization. So grab different people. If you have different areas of Dynamics 365 implemented, you want to make sure they're all represented with your advocates, your influencers, maybe even your stick in the mud. So if you have sales, service, and marketing, make sure you have members from all those teams so you're getting an accurate view. Now, what do you do once you have this great team put together? You're going to tell a story. And this is the most important part. So here are some ways that I've seen others achieve success. This is by no means the only things you can do, but it's some ideas to get you started. So first up, best practices. Familiarize yourselves with best practices. There's a lot of documentation out there. There's a lot of blogs. There's a lot of YouTube videos. There are just unlimited number of information. If you need help finding out some best practices, feel free to reach out to me. I can point you in the right direction. But basically here, what you want to do is figure out how Dynamics 365 can help become a strategic advantage to your organization. How can increased user adoption help your company's bottom line? Put these against your KPIs. Find what makes sense for your company and speak that language and show a story by implementing those best practices. How can your company achieve X, Y, and Z, which is what they're trying to do. Second one here, this is a long one because I think this is a really helpful one. Business cases. Build a strong connection between updating Dynamics 365 with an eye on user adoption to realizing the core objectives of your company. And what are the benefits? So then I have here, be prepared to defend your business cases and educate others about the bottom line benefit of a system streamlined for user adoption. So I put a few examples in here. These aren't going to resonate with everyone, but they might with some. And it'll get you an idea of the type of thinking that I'm talking about here. So when you have 100% buy-in, the data in your system is stronger. That makes sense, right? The ROI is accurate. Metrics that guide executive reporting are accurate. Dashboards that you might have, Power BI dashboards or external dashboards that call together systems way beyond the confines of Dynamics 365 alone, they're going to start telling a very precise story that leads to excellent business decisions from your executive team. So you want to make sure to kind of take these business cases and layer on your personal company's objectives. So suddenly, here's another example from the sales side that I put here. It becomes very easy to forecast the next quarter's sales numbers, provide accurate estimates, and balance your inventory availability to ensure that you don't lose any sales because you don't have a product in stock, which is awesome. So create those stories, create those business use cases, and use those that resonate with your team and your implementation of Dynamics 365. And finally, when all else fails, some organizations really just need to hear it from an external expert. So bring in an expert. Have somebody come in, do an audit of your system, and help them or use them to help achieve the goals that your team has laid out. So find an expert in both Dynamics 365 and user adoption who has the same goals as you to encourage end user buy-in and help achieve executive buy-in. So once you're done, once you've used that team, you've told your story, you've presented it to executive management, light bulb goes out. They're like, oh my gosh, this is what we've been missing. User adoption is the key to it all, which it is. High fives all around. Virtual high fives for now. But don't get rid of that team. That team is going to help you for the life of your system. So keep your team intact, have meetings, quarterly, monthly, whatever makes sense. Pick a cadence that works. These are the people that are now going to help guide any additional changes, enhancements, updates, projects, anything you're going to have that touches that Dynamics 365 system. And you've just created an environment that really encourages user adoption and involves your management team, which is a hard tightrope to balance. So congratulations. If you have any questions, if you want to talk more about it, please email me, Heidi@reenhance.com. I am passionate about user adoption. I'm happy to help you. If you want to talk through a particular scenario you have, feel free. Go get those user adoption